It was May 1978 in the village of Oracabessa on the north coast of Jamaica. It was a time and a place with a special memory for me. I had the honor of being best man in the wedding of my close Jamaican friend, Rowan Trusty, or just Trusty as everybody knew him. The ceremony took place in the Grace Baptist Church, and the reception that followed was in the best Jamaican tradition. The smell of curried goat cooking over an open fire permeated the humid air. Stewed chicken, rice and peas, and boiled green bananas completed the feast. And of course, the hypnotic beat of reggae music never stopped. As I glanced at the crowd, I felt happy and very much part of the family. I had to chuckle to myself that I was the one who had talked Trusty and Marlene into formally getting married after 12 years of what had become a common law marriage. But my time in Jamaica did not start on such a high note. When I arrived in the summer of '76 as an idealistic Peace Corps volunteer, I was 24 and ready to change the world. I knew the beauty of the island, and I had read about the poverty, unemployment, and high inflation. But the political tension came as a surprise. The government was in the middle of a bitter election between socialists and right-wing conservatives. In the capital of Kingston, rival political neighborhoods would routinely exchange gunfire. 2 months earlier, the government had established a state of emergency, and anyone caught with a gun was placed in the gun court, indefinitely and without trial. Roadblocks were common. On one occasion, the bus on which I was riding was stopped at a military roadblock, and I was one of 3 individuals asked to step off and be searched at gunpoint. This was also the time that Bob Marley was shot and wounded during a rehearsal at his home, allegedly because of his association with the socialist government. At the end of the orientation program, I was placed in a teaching position in a beautiful coastal village called Oracabessa. I lived in a small cottage on an old banana plantation. From the start, I enjoyed the kids, and the kids enjoyed the novelty of a foreign teacher. Frequently after school, I would walk home with a group of kids, sometimes a couple of miles on footpaths through the hills and the brush to meet their families. I was always warmly received. Yes, there were still challenges. When traveling outside Oracabessa, I continued to hear calls of CIA go home. But in Oracabessa, life was different. It seemed like everyone in the village knew the Peace Corps teacher, and they looked out for me. I formed many close friendships. Miss Evie McGregor was my landlady. She nursed me through 4 weeks of dengue fever with many home-cooked meals. James was an old-time Jamaican gentleman who worked for Miss Evie, tending her cows and goats. He was an accomplished harmonica player, and the two of us spent many an evening with a few Red Stripe beers, my guitar, and his harmonica. Our masterpiece was a classic Jamaican version of Ain't Nobody's Business But My Own. With each of these experiences, I became more and more aware of the beauty and the strength of this Jamaican community. But the highlight of my Peace Corps experience was near the end of my 2-year stint, when Trusty asked me to be his best man. The cultures had been crossed, the stereotypes shattered, and our common humanity exposed. I left Jamaica feeling a bit sad. I had come to serve people and give of myself, but as I returned to the U.S., I knew I had received much more than I had given.